Now, new reports suggest that this guy right here was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. I'll talk about that in a second, but I want to actually talk about the surgery itself. Two things you have to understand from this surgery. Number one, the surgery itself took place underground. Number two, he is still underground. Why it is important? Well, it is important because of the context of the situation he is going through and his country, the fake state of Israel. Missiles are being raining on the Zionist state. Rockets are coming now not only from Yemen but also from northern Gaza, a place called Al-Hanun. The Al-Quds Brigade, they have now resumed communication with the rocket team in order to send and launch more rocket and missile attack on Israel. This is the situation. He's going into this kind of surgery with his doctor, and things are looking absolutely devastating for him. Now, before we move on and share with all the details about the cancer and all of those things, I just want to remind you, most of my viewers are not subscribed. If you happen to be one of them, consider subscribing. So Netanyahu's office, they came out with this kind of statement. They're definitely trying to hide something here, and I'll tell you why I believe they're hiding something very significant. Netanyahu to be placed in underground hospital after surgery amid fears of rocket attacks. The Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu undertook emergency. So again, the important thing here is to notice the wording here of this news article. They try to be absolutely neutral. They're not trying to exaggerate about the situation. Nevertheless, they themselves mention this word. They wrote this word here and coded this article with this kind of wording, emergency. So you have to really be attentive in order to understand the situation that he is going through at the moment. So he is doing an emergency prostate surgery and has been forced to recover in an underground facility for his safety. So again, underground facility for his safety. Why is he so scared for his life when he is actually in the hospital? Well, he is not safe anywhere. Now, there are two things you have to also understand when it comes to his safety. It is not just the rockets that are being rained on his fake state of Israel by Yemenis or by Hezbollah or by Hamas, including his own residential building that was hit, as we know, in October. It is also because he is afraid that his own people would harm him, if not the doctors who would turn who would turn against him and try to inject him with some kind of poison. He is afraid, he is fearful, he is suspicious of everyone, his office. They are trying their best to protect him, but who knows? Somebody can, even the nurse could come in and, inject him with some kind of poison. Who knows? Anything can happen. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu will be placed in a fortified underground hospital to protect him from potential rocket attacks after undergoing prostate surgery. Earlier on Sunday, the Israeli premier undertook surgery to remove his prostate at the Hadassah Medical Center in Jerusalem. His office said in a statement that Netanyahu was later moved to an underground fortified recovery ward for his own safety. On Saturday, Israeli forces intercepted 2 rockets from Gaza's Beit Hanun area, a rare occurrence after nearly 15 months of war. One thing that you have to understand is this. Look at what he's doing in Gaza. The last operating hospital, the last one standing, the one hospital was completely destroyed. He made the people, the patients, go without treatment. He made them to suffer. Can you imagine? You are in pain. You are going to the hospital and there is no cure for your pain. Can you imagine how often you go through some kind of pain, physical pain I'm talking about? All of us, we have gone through, and we go to the doctor right away. We rush to the doctor. We rush to the medical emergency. What if it is about our relatives, our mothers, our father, our children? What do? We go to the hospital. Can you imagine? Put yourself in the shoe of the people of Gaza. They go to the hospital is gone. There is nothing left. There is no anesthesia. They are just cutting your whole body open without any anesthesia. You're feeling the pain. You're seeing that your skin, you can see your skin, you can see your blood, you can see everything when the doctors are doing this operation to save your life. And when these things are happening, this monster, he is going through a very safe, highly protected, fortified underground hospital to go to go for his surgery. Can you believe this guy? Can you believe these kind of monsters, what they're doing to other people when they themselves go through this kind of surgery, this kind of very important moment of their life to save themselves, and they don't feel the pain of other people? Like, what level of monstrosity this is? This is absolutely at a very different level. There is no doubt about that. Nevertheless, this guy is panicking. He's panicking everywhere. He cannot trust anybody. Long-range missile rockets from Gaza have become increasingly rare in the last year, given the toll Israel's military campaign has had on Hamas's ability to attack Israel. But nevertheless, they are attacking. The surgery, quote unquote, ended successfully without complications. The Prime Minister's office said the Prime Minister has woken up, is in good condition, and is completely conscious. Netanyahu will now remain in the fortified recovery ward underground for a few days due to fears for his life. So he was in the hospital to save his life. Now that the operation is done, he's now still afraid of his life. And guys, trust me, what he's going through inside of him, the trauma, those nightmares, I can tell you that is much, much worse than those people in Gaza dying, seeing death. They are actually, a lot of the time, they're happy to see death. But this guy, what he's going through right now, I can promise you, he's not happy. He's anxious. He's stressed. He doesn't know what he will do with his life. This is a complete waste of life. And this guy, after he dies, he knows what awaits for him is much, much more worse. The Prime Minister was under full anesthesia for the procedure. Yeah, good for him. Which his office said was scheduled after doctors discovered an infection in his urinary tract resulting from a benign enlargement of the prostate. Hadassah Medical Center's head of urology, Professor Goffreid, said the procedure, quote unquote, went as planned with no complications. Yeah, I mean, in the comfort of the hospital, he went through this treatment, this operation, this surgery, while killing other people and depriving those people from getting any treatment. Forget about this kind of advanced treatment. Very good treatment. Forget about that. Just a basic one, guys. Just a basic one. He's depriving them of that. Israeli media reported that Justice Minister Yariv Levin would temporarily serve as acting Prime Minister during the procedure. Defense Minister or Monster Israel Katz was authorized to convene the Security Cabinet if needed. Netanyahu gone to great lengths to demonstrate to the Israeli public that he's healthy enough to lead Israel. But over the last few years, the 75-year-old has developed health complications. So here is where I want you to pay attention to. So the last few years, things are getting worse and worse for him, more and more complicated. Last year, doctors fitted him with a pacemaker after he suffered a transient heart block. I do not know anything about a pacemaker, but that is something when you go through some serious heart issues. I think that's when they put a pacemaker or a pacemaker. And this is exactly what he's wearing right now inside of his body. His surgery coincides with an ongoing trial against him where an Israeli court charged him with several counts of fraud. This is the biggest fraud in human history anyways. Netanyahu's defense lawyer requested that the Jerusalem District Court cancel the hearing at which the premier was expected to give testimony. The court accepted his request and blah, 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 blah. Now, let's talk about his cancer. So, where it is coming from? Because Israeli media and his office did not say anything about this. But I do have reasonable... I have my own reason why I believe that he does have cancer. Now, nevertheless, Iranian News, Islamic Republic News Agency, they have published this report. Take a look. Netanyahu diagnosed with cancer, okay? Says Israeli Prime Minister Office. Let's see what they're saying. So, Tehran. The Israeli Prime Minister office announced that Netanyahu has been diagnosed with prostate cancer and will undergo surgery on Sunday. According to the Palestinian news agency Samas, Netanyahu's office said in a statement that he underwent an examination at Hadassah Hospital and was diagnosed with a urinary tract infection caused by an enlarged benign prostate tumor. So tumor, these things are not easy to operate on, especially for a guy who is 75 years old. Therefore, I mean, again, as I said, they are not going to say anything about his cancer. They always keep it hush-hush all the time, the Zionist media. But for a 75 years old to go undergo this kind of surgery, prostate surgery, and to have that removed, that benign infection, or whatever they call it. I mean, when we talk about infection, we talk about cancer, right? Cancer is infectious. But yeah, they're not going to use the word cancer yet. This guy, I mean, he told his people, his close associates, do not ever say I have cancer, because the Israeli people will revolt against me even more. They're going to come out and they're going to let me die without any treatment. So he is panicking at the moment. He doesn't want this to go out. And especially, I mean, what if Iran hears that? What if Hezbollah hears that? Well, they will be like, oh, this guy is weak. Let's attack. Let's fight Israel. Because leadership is important for any country. So if the leader is weak or sick or is dying, the adversaries for Israel, Hezbollah and Iran, they will be like, okay, so we have to think now post Netanyahu. Since then, the Prime Minister has received antibiotic treatment and the infection has disappeared. The statement said, adding that he would undergo prostate surgery. It is his third health scare for the Zionist leader after hernia surgery in March, having a pacemaker implanted in July after a medical incident. Netanyahu, the current leader of the Likud party, has been serving as a Zionist regime since 2022 after holding similar position for 4 year terms before. He is the main architect of the genocide on the besieged Gaza Strip and has killed 46,000 people, mostly women and children. Okay, so again, the bottom line that we have to understand from all of this is that they are hiding something big, but his health, they're not gonna give up his duties as prime minister. They're gonna still keep him alive with all of this medicine and all that until they get rid of him. This guy is rotting. He's rotting right in front of our eyes, guys. This guy is rotting in front of our eyes. His corpse will rot. He'll rot in grave. He will burn in hell. And I mean, we don't need. I mean, this is what we call ultimate justice, right? You don't have to wait for him to die. We are already seeing his demise, his punishment, right in front of our eyes. We're already seeing it, guys. So justice will be served. There is no doubt about that.